Advisors Private Limited. She's also an author of the book Coming Home to In-Laws. Superb, Divyaji. So now I have to let me tell you about something about CS Jigarji, Mr. Jigar Gandhi. He's also fellow member of Institute of Company Secretaries of India, ICSI. He has 12 years of experience and servicing to various clients in the field of corporate laws and as practicing company secretary. He was a member of research group constituted by ICSI headquarters in the year 2015 and contributed to an article of the incorporation of company in India. He is also published in Chartered Secretary published by ICSI. He has also worked on the project ICSI Premier on Company Law, a book which was published by ICSI having detailed commentary on each provision of the newly enacted the Companies Act and rules made thereunder. He is a member of research group constituted by ICSI headquarters in the year 2015 for giving suggestions to Ministry of Corporate Affairs on the Companies Act 2013. He conducted due diligence as of various companies as required by the RBI for consortium finance by the banks. Over to you, Mansoor.
All right. Thank you, Ankita. That was a very wonderful introduction for both our guests. Okay, first things first, guys. I need everyone else to go on mute. Okay. Okay.
Come on, Mansoor. Please rename your Zoom ID. So we log in. You have logged in with the full name, so we can identify who's have joined in. And please keep your mic on mute. Any queries, please put in the chat system, or we will be addressing at the end. If you want, you can then unmute yourself and ask the esteemed speakers. Over to you, Mansoor.
I think his phone has got hanged. So we are having a coffee conversation. We all are with our cups, right? Where is your cup? Okay. So this coffee conversation is planned with 3 rounds. Round 1, we will be introducing you some of the questions related to technical aspect. Round 2, we will be having some of the personal questions with both of them. And round 3 will be a rapid fire round questions. So are you ready, both of you? Okay. Although this is a very common question and many of us might be knowing the answers to this, but still I would like you all to address this question. That my first question will be to Mr. Jigarji. What do you think something about the ROC compliance? Can you throw a light upon that topic?
ROC compliance generally ignored by the industry, because I found always there is a less penalty levied by the government. After enacting of Companies Act 2013, people are taking a bit seriously, but in my view, ROC compliances industry take very lightly, and they don't consider as it is equal to GST compliance or maybe income tax compliance. So people are not taking seriously ROC compliances that much seriously.
Okay, Divya ji.
Yes, basically, usually what happens is when the company is formed, the directors, the founders, the core team, the promoters are so busy setting up their businesses that usually the compliance is outsourced. And when the compliance is outsourced, the responsibility still lies with the directors. So I think when we talk of ROC compliance, usually people feel that okay, we have done income tax compliance and that's done. And that's where they really don't understand that ROC is also a one major reporting authority, wherein there are a lot of compliances needs to be done, and especially after 2013, as Jigar also rightly mentioned, a lot of compliances have come in place, and I think that's there. I mean, ROC compliances are there, but surely industry needs to be more compliant when it comes to the ROC compliances.
Great. Mansur, would you like to address something?
Yes, my question would be to Mr. Jigar. Okay, so Mr. Jigarji, what would you suggest for any companies who wants to improve their compliance postures? What would you suggest?
They should appoint a qualified person, maybe chartered accountant, maybe company secretary, maybe cost accountant.
Yes, sir,
And,
one moment.
and all this-
Louder. We can't, you're not little audible. Can you come a little closer?
hope now you can.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Better. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So people need to understand the compliance first, and they need to approach the professional also for the handling this. Normally, I see ROC compliance people are not taking seriously, and a few professionals are handling the all jobs. Like one chartered accountant and one accountant is doing accountancy also, ROC compliance is also, and then cost accounting also. So majorly need to identify the professional who can handle the ROC compliances better. So technically, company should understand this. These compliances are also important. And nowadays, even after enacting Companies Act 13, ROC also charging a heavy penalty. So people need to appoint a proper person to manage the compliances.
Okay. Divya ji, would you like to add into that?
Yes, surely, because see, I feel there is a concept called better awareness leads to better choices, and better choices leads to better results. So, if the compliance is taken as a burden, that is always going to be putting pressure on the directors or the promoters. And if the compliance is taken as a facilitator for growth, that how the better governed companies can have a better growth, I think those choices will take them to a better, that will be a better result. And with that approach, the mindset change of the promoters, if that's happening, I think that will really be improvement. What I feel will be there.
All right. So, but do you all both believe like the hierarchy system of a company is also very much involved in like attending to the compliance part? What would be your take on that?
Sorry, come again.
I'm saying, what would be your take? Like the company, when we have a hierarchy, like we have the CEOs, we have the upper management and everything. So, like, do you think they need to be more open about this with their people involved in it for the compliance posture?
Yeah, so if you see the hierarchy of the company, there is always a company secretary who is handling, he is also one of the KMP. So, but probably that weightage is not there like CFO or CEO, but there is always a company secretary who can, manage the compliances.
All right.
So I feel, when the company, especially, when we talk of the mid-sized companies, best of the best companies will have a CFO, CEO, and the company secretaries as KMP in their team. But when we talk of the mid-sized companies, smaller companies, they may not have a full-time company secretary in-house. And that's where role of directors themselves becomes very important, to be aware and get the things done, whether it is from external consultants or from the internal people who are managing the overall operations. So I think that becomes very important. And here again, when we talk of hierarchy, the mindset of the top people has to be very, very clear on the compliance. Because I would say there is what I always say one proverb: the fish rots at its head. And whether the organizations stumble or succeed, that always depends on the heads of the organization. So compliance, if it is not taken care of, again, the top level people, that is directors, come into picture.
Right. Very well said. Over to you, Ankita.
Actually, I want to ask you, if a particular company fails to meet the ROC compliance, so what happens and what would be the requirements for that? And what happens to the directors of such companies?
Purely depend on what provision you are non-complying or complying. So normally company has to file some annual returns in the year. If they are not filing for 3 years, then maybe directors are getting disqualified from the appointment of directors in other companies also. There are a lot of penalty and fine provisions also there in Companies Act. So they may go and prosecute you in judicial courts, or maybe you can go and compound your provisions. Or there are certain provisions where recently they have added penalty provisions that you can go and adjudicate your non-compliances.
Okay, Divya.
I would like to share a story here. Uh, as I know, this is a conversation, coffee conversation. So
Yeah,
let
we
me
love
share a
stories. Go
story.
ahead.
Yeah, so there was a company wherein in 2002, two promoters, two friends acquired a company. And in 2004, approx, one person went out of India, and exactly during same time or similar time, one person who was in India, he expired. And the company was left, there was no one to take care of the company, nothing, no returns filed for so many years. And in 2013, the police went to that was a Diwali day, and the police went to a home of the person who was deceased. So his wife, he issued the summons. And that's where, when the wife came and said, I don't know anything about this, affair, or why you are, why you have come to summon or, arrest the person. The person is no more. So, and, we took some time from the court, and so when we actually went through the entire fact, what we came to know is the person's, one person was out of India. So practically he had no clue that company was existing in India, that company was live in India, and one person was not there. And that's where in 2012, when the courts issued the summons, the entire compounding, the entire compliance process took those people. The person was out of India, he came to India, and all those things had to be settled. And they had to shred out not less than 15 to 20 lakhs just to get that entire offense compounded, that entire compliances to be done for all those years. They had to appoint two directors on board, and n number of things had to be done. So this is what happens usually when the things are not taken care of. And let me tell you, the return filing is not more than 500 rupees or 600 rupees for one return which needs to be filed. Even if you hire a consultant, the professional may not charge you more than 10, 15,000, 20,000 rupees for filing the returns. So, that's where the importance of understanding what has to be given priority. And if you, really as directors are aware, as I said, better awareness results, in better results. So that becomes important.
अच्छा अच्छा वो सुबह सुबह आ जा रहा है क्या बात है ठीक है ना दुकान बंद है नहीं दुकान के आदमी लोग हैं
Go ahead, Ankita.
जैसे ये उधर कुछ बोला नहीं है
Mansoor, would you like to add something?
Yeah. So Divya ji, what types of ROC filings does a registered company need to complete every year?
Okay. So there are n number of compliances which comes up, and most important, prominent, which every person should be aware and doing, is the annual filing. When you file the annual accounts and annual returns with the company registrar of companies once a year, that is a mandatory for everyone. Apart from that, as a director, there are disclosures to be given, which director gives to the company on annually basis. And most important now with this, new regulations coming up, the lot of new provisions and new compliances have been added. One is most important is director has to complete his KYC with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. And after that, there are, if the company is, having a big business and company has a lot of MSME vendors, they also need to report to the registrar that we have so many amounts of outstanding dues to these MSMEs. So this is called MSME Form 1. And after that, there is DPT. So if there are loans, advances taken by the company from anyone, financial institutions, related parties, directors, so that has to be reported. And these are some, which I feel are very, very important, which company needs to. And then there are certain event-based compliances. So if the company is shifting registered office, then there is a return to be filed. If the company is changing its capital, changing its object clause, then there are returns to be filed and approvals needs to be taken. So yeah, Jigar can add if I have missed out on something.
Nothing more, but only the routine compliance is supposed to be, normally private companies supposed to be handle the routine compliances. There's a different compliances for listed companies also. They might file some annual report for the listed company also. It depends how
Okay.
company structure is.
So could you like add an example to like what kind of company, like for a basic, say for a mid-sized company, what would that, for that structure, what kind of ROCs would be required?
If you see a small private limited company, they might be filing a balance sheet or maybe annual return in a year. If there is a slightly bigger size of company, they might be, even a public limited company, they might be filing one PAS 6 form addition to that, and the yearly compliance is annual return and balance sheet and all. If slightly bigger company, then they might be need to have a sectoral audit, and they are, they are filing along with annual compliance, they are filing MGT8 certification, and there's additions to that. If for a listed company there is one more addition, they might be filing a report called a annual report, AGM report, to be filed with the ROC. So depends
Okay.
of the company, compliances are getting increased.
So
Or
as the company increases the company expands, the stakeholders of the company are increasing, the compliance transparency also increases, and therefore when the promoters are really looking at growth, most important aspect is they should start looking at the compliance seriously, and not necessarily that they have to do everything. I mean, the director is not supposed to sit and file the annual accounts or annual returns with
Right.
ROC. There are professionals who are going to take care of, but whether the professionals are doing the work, because see, if I tell you here, when we talk of the practicality or what, as a professional we also face the challenge. We send one reminder to client, we send two reminders to client, but if the client is not interested in providing the details, at some moment we also have other clients to take care of, and we will say okay, jab aayega tab dekhenge. So ultimate responsibility is whose? The directors.
correct.
As a professional we can surely facilitate, but we can't complete the assignments or the task on his behalf with the ROC. So here I think the ultimate responsibility or accountability definitely comes with the directors of the company, and that's where they really need to be aware.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Over to you, Ankita.
So Divya, you too already have told some of the real cases about of the Indian companies. I would like to hear something from Jigarji. Any of the real-time cases in India that has happened to any of the companies or families that have faced hardships due to non-compliance?
I'll give you one small example. One company was incorporated around 4-5 years back. They got a huge land from MIDC. Now, after a period of time, they are ignoring ROC compliances for 3-4-5 years. Now that company is strike off by the registrar of companies. Now the hardship is that you need to go to NCLT to secure a order for restoration of company, and then you will be able to set up your plant. Your accounts and everything are going to be freeze if you're not going to comply for a particular period. Maybe for 3 years, 4 years, if you're not filing a compliances, you are not doing any business, then companies are getting strike off by the ROC, and the whole hardship starts from there onwards. So that's how the actual complications are coming up if you're not complying with the ROC.
Okay. Divya, do you have any of the other stories?
I'll tell you one story of a director, and usually, as I mentioned, we prepare the disclosures for the director, that you have to give the disclosure to the company. Company aapka hi hai, but you and your company are separate. Your company and you are not same. I mean, usually the directors run their private limited companies as proprietors, which is a very dangerous thing to happen. But in India, I think 95% of the businesses run in that fashion. So we prepared the disclosures because to keep it in the records of the company, and we gave that disclosure to the director. And when he took it for the signature, he said, "Oh, this company, I am not a director in this company." I said, "Okay, but I have checked it on MCA and the name shows that you are a director in this company." And he said, "No, I can't be a director because I am only a director in one company, and that's my running company." So we said, okay, let us, go back to the MCA, do some inspection, do some research. What has happened? We've downloaded a lot of documents, all the incorporation documents, that how this person, and that person was there in the company since incorporation. So when we actually went through all the documentation, we realized that their professionals, because they wanted to give out to some another person, किसी को बेचना था, तो उन्होंने कंपनी फॉर्म कर लिया कि चलो जो डायरेक्टर्स का डेटा है हम लोग कंपनी फॉर्म कर लेते हैं, बाद में हम लोग सेल ऑफ कर देंगे, and that's how they were trying to create that, expedite the process of formation. And then that that professional missed out filing the returns. And over in 2017, I mean, this is, let me share with everyone. In 2017, almost 2.5 lakh directors were disqualified. More than 3 lakh companies were struck off by ROC just for not filing these 3 years financials. And that's where in this company also, we told them, that you file your returns prior to that, 1 or 2 years prior to that. And they said, no, I have not formed this company. I am not going to file a single return. Let that chartered accountant or, that company secretary, whosoever has formed, file it. And he did not file it. He said, you have to take a call because you are a director in the company. And ultimately, in 2017, when this disqualification drive happened, he was disqualified and his company, he was disqualified. And now he is not able to act as a director in his own company, which is running and active. So it actually took him into a lot of challenges, and now he is no more a director in his own company. He is holding a position of CEO in his company. His the family members are there as the directors in the company who are running the show on his behalf. So there is no provision under the company law that you can get activated. And there was a window which ministry came out and said that if you have faced this hardship, come to NCLT, get the order, and we will be able to restore your DIN numbers. But if the directors have not explored that opportunity of obtaining the approval, that was the scheme which was in 2018. I think after in the January 2018 till I think May 2018 they had ran the scheme. If the people have not taken benefit, then the disqualification still continues probably till 2021-22. And they cannot form any other company. They cannot be, they cannot use the designation as director. So a lot of hardships have happened. And I think that was a real lesson, because see, these provisions were there under Companies Act for 50 years for public limited companies. That if you don't act, file your returns for 3 years, you are disqualified to act as director in another company. But when this provision in 2013 came in, and it was made applicable to even private limited companies, that was the major, breakthrough, I think, for the ministry, wherein they were able to see a major transformation in the mindset of the people that no, governance and compliance is important. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. That's really what I can say ki mujhe to I got fear and thrill. If we don't do, then we can have lots of these things. So one thing I would like to ask ki if you have any tips to avoid these penalties.
Okay. See, tips, one thing which I would like to tell, all the directors, the promoters, the founders, is that the way you, plan your yearly holidays, the way you plan your yearly, business, the expansion plans, you also have to plan your compliance. कि okay, मुझे October में मेरा return आना है, so my calendar is blocked to set a reminder in my mind. In the month of November, if I have to file annual return, my calendar has to be blocked. In the month of, say for example, in the month of April, my KYC has to be done, so my calendar has to be marked. And I need to follow up with the professional, with my team in the office, whosoever has been designated with that responsibility, whether you have done or not. This is a very simple tip. And when you have marked your calendar, even if you forget, your calendar will remind you. And now we have such a wonderful technology we are using that, you get everything on your fingertips. So I think that's one tip which I would like to give everyone, that block your entire year's calendar, compliance calendar in your mobiles and Google calendars.
I just add one thing to that. It is very easy to manage this compliance calendar. You just Google it, you will find the compliance calendar. You can add to your Google calendar. You will be able to match the dates.
Yeah, great tip. Mansur, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Okay, I think we are done with the techie questions, so we'll come on a bit on the personal questions right now. Okay. So Divya ji, we would really want to know what led you to become a CS.
Okay, what led me to become a CS? I am from
Yeah.
a very small town in that is Malegaon in Nasik district, and almost 25 years back when I, or 17 years back when I completed my CS, but I started my journey for becoming a CS almost 19 or 20 years back. And that time there were no major options for a student. If there were hardly commerce, science, and arts. अगर आपने साइंस नहीं लेना है तो आपके पास कॉमर्स का ऑप्शन है बिकॉज यू आर अ ब्राइट स्टूडेंट सो कॉमर्स में अब आप क्या करोगे तो यू हैव चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी कंपनी सेक्रेटरीशिप यू बिकम अ लॉयर और you take banking and finance and you take a banking job and I realized that I was really passionate about the compliance or the advocacy part of it. So that's where that interested me and I selected that as my profession. And because we didn't have any courses, any guidance in that small town, I shifted to Pune, and that's where I got my formal education and the coaching on the company secretaryship. Thank you.
Jigar ji, would you like to add into that?
Nothing much. I started my journey when I was a standard. I was good at drafting, so I find this could be the area where I can contribute to the industry. And I pursued my company secretaryship from Ahmedabad, and then I shifted to Bombay for training, and then I continued here for my life.
All right. So, like, have any of like Divya ji, have you faced any kind of like challenges that have excelled you in your career?
Yes, so I had actually shared this story with you in 2000, in 2001 and 2, when I actually cleared my company secretaryship, I got my membership, and I was looking for opportunity as a job. And because उस time पे company secretary क्या होता है, a lot of people didn't know that 2013 actually helped the profession to flourish, wherein people started saying that अब compliance हमसे नहीं होता है, let a professional who's expert in these areas can handle it. So that's where the profession actually flourished, and again, a lot of professionals, senior professionals, have taken a lot of efforts in getting a lot of recognitions. But in way back, 2001 to probably still it was on very nascent stage, even though we had completed almost 20-25 years by that time as well. So I was sent for an interview by an HR company. I was very close relative. And I told that person that, see, I am a company secretary and only send me if there is a job for a company secretary. And he said, nahi, ab jaiye, ho jayega. And I went there, and the interviewer was a chartered accountant by profession. And he said, you know what this position is for? I said, I really doubt what this position is for. And he said, this position is for a personal secretary. And you are a company secretary, and I am a chartered accountant, so I understand what your role and expertise are. So definitely this position is not for you. But we have a listed company, and wherein we are also looking for a company secretary. So can you join us there? So that was my first break, and that was first you can say my learning that whenever you are going, do a proper due diligence before you go for any any assignment or anywhere you go. So that was my first learning, and yeah, thank you.
Right. Jigar ji, what was your challenges that you have faced to excel in your career? We would like to get a take on that as well.
I was appointed as a research group member for this ICSI.
Okay.
That time there is a challenge because New Companies Act was there. There is a lot of learning, unlearning, and learning again. So I find a lot of challenge during that time, and that was a great experience to be part of that group. That gives a lot of knowledge enhancement during that period. So that's the only challenge probably I faced during it.
All right. Okay, over to you, Ankita.
Divya, what would be your advice to someone who wants to pursue a career in CS?
Okay. So, see, surely I can tell you, with recent, as I already mentioned, a lot of efforts surely has been taken by the institute level to bring a lot of recognitions to the overall this profession of company secretaryship. And with this compliance increasing, again, compliance helps you to get the trust factor of your stakeholders very high. For example, we see, best of the best companies today, whether it is Tata, whether it is Infosys, and we have trust because we know the compliance, the governance at that top level is very, very good. So who's taking care of that compliance is a professional like company secretaries, like chartered accountants, and the entire gamut of professionals. So when we talk of the profession, yes, I would say, these professions, professional courses, whether it is CA, CS, even lawyers, advocacy, and now all these new professions coming up, insolvency professional, the registered valuers, there are huge opportunities which have thrown to the professionals. So I would surely say that people who aspire to get some wonderful position in their careers in the corporate ladders, they should professionally get themselves certified on all these courses. Now, most important thing is, when we talk of women, a lot of people ask me, why you as women selected this? And I said, I did not find an, other option better. So I selected it. But yes, now I realize that this has, given me a lot of flexibility to manage my time, this profession. I mean, today you see MCA 21 has gone completely digital. And sitting in our offices, we are able to handle each and every compliance for the, client. Whether you are in job, I mean, I have seen people in job sitting in their offices for 1 year, and all the compliances of the company are perfectly up to date with the ministry, with the SEBI, with the regulators, wherever you say, because they are handling it, from the remote places. So this has been a wonderful profession, especially, for women, if they have sabbatical, if they have challenges, Ratko, I still remember there was a time when I used to do my entire compliance or mera pura main computer pe kaam raat ko karti thi because my daughters were small and they never used to allow me to work during the daytime. So I can very well manage my family, my time, everything can be handled on ease. So I would surely say these professionals, but yes, hard work is the key, and everybody, and everybody knows these professional courses surely needs a lot of hard work to, to reach that level. So yeah,
great. So दिव्या जी ने तो बोल दिया women के लिए बहुत अच्छा है. जिगर जी आप बोलेंगे boys के लिए अच्छा है?
It's good for everyone who wants to follow the land of law. I think it's a great opportunity to be a company secretary. Very wonderful profession. If I can do it, anybody can do it. That's what I want to say. Limited.
I would just like to add one thing here. India is writing a growth story. India is writing. So today we are standing on the rise of a decade. 2021. So entire decade is there in front of us. Even though this pandemic is there, we have been all struggling with that. This is going to be a short-term phenomena, maybe 1 year, 2 years, or even 3 years. So after that, surely when the world is looking at India and lot of corporates, I mean, if I give you statistics, close to 6.5 CR of businesses in India are registered under MSME. And when you see the number of corporates, probably not more than 14 lakh corporates are registered under the Registrar of Companies, under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So where is 6.5 CR and where is only 14 lakhs? Now, further come to, the listed entities. On BSE, NSE, dono mila ke, there are not more than 8,000 listed entities. So just imagine the businesses, 6.5 crore businesses and only 8,000 businesses are there on the corporate. And, usi ke basis mein aaj pura Sensex upar niche ho raha hai. So just imagine if all those small businesses also have a vision to scale up, to come and, grow their businesses, there is an enormous opportunity. And the way businesses will grow, the professions will grow, because every business will need professionals for sure. So I think, if somebody is looking at selecting this as a profession, it has huge opportunities. Thank you.
True.
Yeah.
So we are going to have round number 3, rapid fire round. But before that, let's have one sip of coffee, everyone. Yes, and round 3 will be taken by Mr. Amir Virani. You are muted.
You're unmuted, sir.
So the two questions are there. We have thought of 3, but let's keep to 2. So we'll have to pick up. Sir, both of you are in competition. Whoever picks up gets a chance to answer. Yeah. What are the consequences of not filing returns for more than 3 years?
The person gets disqualified.
Already explained by me.
Because rapid fire के लिए पूछने की questions, we were confused what to ask in the last round. Yeah. This one is regarding to the DIR. Why does DIR has to be filed? KYC has to be done every year, and if not done, what are the consequences for the directors?
If they are not doing, they are going to pay 5,000 rupees penalty.
So why it is to be done, I'll tell you. Because lot of times the notices when the government or the ministry issues, the letters come undelivered. People have changed their addresses, people have changed their locations, and the ministry is not aware. जो database में 5 साल पुराना data या addresses that continues and the notices are being sent. So I think that was the reason where that person is alive. I mean, you have to prove every year that you are alive and you have a registered office. You have a registered place as a residence where the government can send you notices. So that's the ultimate purpose of every year KYC.
I have one question which I was discussing with you, Divya, when during a conversation, which I want to ask you for the benefit of the participants who have joined us on Zoom as well as on Facebook Live, for the benefit, the settlement schemes. How does government comes up with the settlement schemes, and what are the benefits? And if someone doesn't take the benefits, what happens?
Okay, so usually I have heard a lot of companies and coming and saying, "Madam, settlement scheme आने दो तब file करेंगे." They wait 5 years का filing compile करते हैं, and then they wait for the amnesty scheme to come, and then they take and file the returns. Now, the purpose behind amnesty are 2 when the government comes out on that. That's what my understanding. I have not really gone into the much details of it. But one is that when the government wants to increase some revenue sources for them, and they know the compliance, because overview, they have a complete overview. So when they know कि बहुत सारे companies ने अभी तक returns file नहीं किए हैं for long number of years, they come out with amnesty to give opportunity to a lot of people. So, and again, the main object is कि जितना पैसा नहीं आया पिछले 2, 4, 5 सालों में, penalty के साथ थोड़ा बहुत करके भले, because sometimes the penalties are 25% waiver, 75% waiver. So चलो जितना आ जाए, हम लोग बोलते हैं जो one time settlement scheme. So that's where government also says, and I think that's the main purpose behind it. So if the person is not availing the amnesty, I mean, recently in this COVID last year, the government came out and said, जितने साल का return file करना है करो, we will not charge a single additional amount on you. 300 रुपया है, 300 रुपया दो, भले आपने 10 साल का return file नहीं किया है. Otherwise, today, if you count 100 rupees per day ka penalty, the penalties are going so heavy. And that scheme was a wonderful scheme. But I really doubt a lot of people have taken benefit of it. So, and again, now if you have not done it, the penalties are going to be there.
Add to this one more thing, that government, as far as the Companies Act is concerned, government has a right to prosecute the director and the officer in default. By having this scheme, government has actually waived the right to prosecute the directors and companies who are not doing this filing. So, my understanding is they want to create awareness among the society that if you do a compliances on timely basis, these kind of situations will not arise. So by having these kind of schemes, a lot of people understands that compliance is to be done on regular basis.
So they actually provide immunity from prosecution, which is a very, very, important pointer. I mean, very rightly said, Jigar Bhai. So everybody should take care, when, first of all, compliances time pe karo. Agar kuch chhoot gaya hai, so make sure that you are taking benefit of amnesties and clearing of all your non-compliances.
Yeah, one more question I have. How many schemes, settlement schemes, just has government come in from 2013 when the new Companies Act has come in?
I don't. In 2012, there was a scheme just before Companies Act. Yeah,
From
I remember. Jigar Bhai, if you can add on.
No, from that time till 2021, how many settlement schemes has government introduced? Can you throw some light on that?
I think 3 times the government has come out. In 2012, they had come out once. In 2000, I think 17, 18, when this disqualification fiasco happened, at that time there was another one, and the third came for the last year, which was like almost more than from April to December, almost 8 months.
Big period. Yeah, I'll just open the floor to the participants. They want any questions to ask Jigar sir or Divya ma'am. They can unmute and ask questions. So I think so. You have answered all the questions, and we have prepared exhaustive questions on the topic. We hope we have addressed all the queries, all the questions, and done justice to this topic of today: ROC compliance, avoid penalty, avoid prosecution of directors.
Yeah. So last, just I would like to add up. As directors, it's always important that you are updated, upskilled for the board positions. So, as I think there was one question about suggesting some the websites, books or ebooks. So I think, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs website is very, very exhaustive. There is an ebook on the MCA entire company law. You can just go, on that there is the search option. आप कोई भी keyword डालो, आपको उसके related सारे provisions under the company law मिल जाएगा. Now, when I see company law is having, it's a voluminous piece of legislation, probably 400, 600 laws, more than 23 regulations, continuous updations, notifications. So you as a director are presumed to know everything, So it's always better, because again it's said that ignorance of law is not an excuse. So you have to be aware that what's going on. So even if your consultants are taking care of all the provisions, still be updated, be upgraded. As far as the legal knowledge is concerned, thoda bahut jitna basic aapko pata hona chahiye. Make sure that you are asking people, or your because now with this internet, there is a huge ocean of knowledge which is already existing on the net. So keep exploring and keep updated yourself. That's very important as director.
That's superb information. Your take.
Any notification is coming before it come to you, probably in a half an hour. If they're issuing, you are getting it on a WhatsApp or probably on a Facebook. Even you get a detailed analysis also. So at least you can just spend some time to read that analysis, and you will be able to understand what kind of notification and what is coming out.
So one more query. Since now COVID has come in, partial lockdown, and there are April, May, June, some compliances are there, like DR, KYC, DPD3. So what is your take? They will be extended, or people will be filing in time? Because this is just a beginning of partial lockdown.
Looking at history, government will extend. If you see the history, government has always supported the industry. So it may extend. Normally it may extend.
Okay.
I would, say here that absolutely Jigar Bhai, government has extended. But and always, they have been very supportive. In fact, last amnesty scheme which came in, the CISS scheme, that was, I think, extended for 3 times, and still people wanted, people come to the consultants last moment saying that, "Arey, abhi to bahut time hai, hum log last moment pe aapko detail de denge," So one thing, which I feel, and this time when last extension, lot of hue and cry happened, lot of hashtags were there, a lot of professionals came out and said, please extend, and I really appreciate one thing about this government's thing, that they did not extend it. And I think somewhere there has to be a line demarcation as far as the extensions is concerned, that it cannot be indefinite. I mean, you can't be given immunity always. The compliance culture, the compliant mindset has to come from within. And when we say, I always it's very thing which I completely believe is that if there is an egg, I mean, even though I am a pure vegetarian, if just giving example, when the egg is broken from outside, it breaks, but when it's broken from inside, there is a life which comes out. So anything which is coming out, whether it is compliance, whether it is non-compliance, it's coming from within. So it's always important that people who are, the brains behind the businesses have the willingness to comply, whether it is company law, whether it is income tax, whether it is GST, whether it is sectoral regulations. I mean, RBI has its own regulations, SEBI has its own regulations. So whatever regulations are there, if you have your own mindset of compliance, you have your team to take care of all the compliances. You don't need to sit and do it. But inside se wo ek aana chahiye ki I have to be a compliant company, I have to be a compliant director. I think that's very important. Thank you.
Fully agree.
One more query is there. Winding up of the company. What formalities does director or the company has to take in so that he complies all the formalities and he doesn't face any inquiry after winding up of the company?
Over to you, Jigar bhai.
So as far as Companies Act is concerned, there is previously there has to be a winding up provisions, but now after enacting the insolvency code, IBC, that section 59 of IBC code gives a voluntary winding up provisions, where you need to appoint an insolvency professional, and then he will carry the, he will see the assets and liabilities to be settled, and thereafter he files some report to NCLT, and NCLT orders the, winding up. There is one more provision in Companies Act also there. There is called a 248 section, which says that if the company has no business for 3 years or 4 years, then company can make an application to ROC for strike off the name of the company. But in that application, directors have to sign some affidavit and indemnity bond. So if anything comes in future, then they are responsible for that. So that's how the winding up is going to be handled in Companies Act current situation.
Thanks for this updated information, Jigarji and Divya ma'am. What we'll do is, we are coming to the end of the session. I'll request all of the participants who are over here on Zoom, let's आपकी video on करिए. We'll take a group picture, which will be a memory for us for this coffee conversations on 22nd April, 6 p.m. So I'll request all of the participants to on their cameras so we can have you all on for a group photograph. So one moment. So photograph CA का symbol नहीं. Whatever, wherever you are, we won't in whatever position. So we need to encourage more people to join in for the next coffee conversations. So we are going from next week. We'll be going live on LinkedIn also and using different formats. Facebook, and we'll try to go on Instagram, LinkedIn, on 3 platforms together. We'll be testing out and hopefully go live on the 3 platforms. So that is our this efforts. to have this coffee conversation. Yeah. Photograph will begin. So, Rasika ji, Sonam, Sonal Walkar, Sudeep Vartak, if you can come on the camera with your beautiful smile. So we can say cheese and take the photograph together. Thank you. Any more waiting to be captured? So let's take a coffee mug and go in. So cheese. So I'm just coming through the last session. Vote of thanks. So I want to thank our speakers, CS Divya Momaya and CS Jigar Gandhi. Their participation in this lovely coffee conversations at TEIF on 22nd April, Thursday, 6 p.m. to share their expert knowledge, their guidance, and helping the directors to understand the importance of compliance and to avoid prosecutions and to take benefit to keep a compliance calendar, which is a wonderful tip shared by CS Divya, to have a compliance calendar and to follow it diligently. What happens if we don't follow the calendar in our lives? Leave aside the compliance calendar. We are not so very organized, Divyaji, but bringing up this compliance calendar thing makes our life also organized, which is a very beautiful tip. So we have got productivity calendars for making our lives easy. For ROC compliance, there is a ROC compliance being shared by many CS. Please take benefit of those compliance calendars and follow that. Keep a tick mark on which dates to file your compliances and share the data with your consultants, the company secretaries, your CAs before time, so they can file your compliances before the due date. What happens? Professionals are working overtime when the filing comes in, which I've seen because I'm also into compliance filing. So we have, I'm into digital signatures also. We see at the last moment people come in for by the prior day. The next day is the last day. People come in. The CAs, company secretaries, ke bhai, iski signature khalas ho gayi, please make a digital signatures. And at the last moment, it becomes very difficult to get the digital signatures approved and give this digital signatures in time. So what we are facing, we can empathize with the professional what they must be going with the team. So it's a humble request to all the directors in India. This I'm staying and I'm appealing on behalf of the professionals, CA, company secretaries, and the cost accountants. Okay, prepare your data in time with your accounts team and keep it updated. Don't wait for the last moment. Your updation should start from 1st April. Don't wait for this is 30th September is the last day. So हम उस दिन के लिए wait करेंगे and again आपको 30 days मिलता है तो खींचते तो professionals get worried कि भाई कब उसका data आएगा, कब हम उसका filing करेंगे and उसकी team भी परेशान हो जाती है कि कभी हम उसका filing कर लेंगे तो हम relax रहेंगे. तो list बढ़ती जाती है companies की जो filing का and उसकी वजह से non filing बढ़ जाता है. So there are various reasons होता है कि because of our ये complacency of delaying. Let us take charge of our lives and of our business.
So in fact, Amir bhai, I would also like to add a tip for the professionals.
Sure.
When you as a professional remind a client saying that on this day is the last date of filing, and if we don't receive your documents by this date, there is no guarantee that your returns will be filed in time. And if that reminder has gone, and then you can't expect your team to sit overtime and do that work. We do our efforts best for every, make sure that clients ka paisa zyada na jaye, they are saved of penalties. But if still the returns details are not coming, then it's always important that you as professionals are giving reminders and stick to that, and then there is no guarantee ki kaam time pe hoga. So I think these reminders really works wonders.
Yeah. Thanks for this wonderful tip to update the directors, the accounts people. Regular reminders are being sent by company secretary, CS team, and that is everyone is working together to get the compliance completed. Next, I like to thank our community partners, Lions Club of Mumbai Shining, MyTaxguru, gifting partner Cynergi, technology partner Prime Infotech. I like to add, we have participants from Pan India attending the session on Zoom as well as on Facebook Live. So we are very humbled, and we are in gratitude at short notice, in just 1 week, we have done the promotion and got everyone together for this Thursday coffee conversation at 6 p.m. And I would like to add that this journey will be continuing, and we want everyone to spread this about coffee conversation to your friends, to your relatives, to the professionals, to business owners, to everyone. Be part in this session, because every week there will be on different theme, different topic with different industry experts. This is our effort to get industry experts to share their knowledge and expertise with the participants who are attending the session. I'd like to thank my co-host, without whom this session would be incomplete, Ankita and Mansoor, and Team TEIF, the Emerging India Forum, which has worked diligently, calling up the participants, sending mailers, connecting on social media, reminding we did a mock session yesterday with the speakers, reminding them speakers to come in, to join in. So many things, the designs, everything. So again, gratitude to the team, and attend for the next session, which is happening on next Thursday on 29th. It will be on gifting. So we want कि भाई भले pandemic आया है, भले lockdown है, we should share the happiness, give gifts to our loved ones, to our near dear ones, to our team members, to the employees. It can be done. So let's spread the happiness through gifts. So that's why we have share this through the gifting session. We have one more person who raised a query. Sonam ji. You can unmute yourself and ask. Anyone wants to ask any query last? We have got 1 minute.
Yeah, wanted to know this DIC KYC due date for financial year 2021-22.
Over to you, Divya ji and Jigar ji.
Yes, Jigar bhai, over to you.
30th September. 30th, presently 30th September.
Okay.
Initially, it has to be done within 30 days till last year, but I think this year they have extended it till, or I think now onwards it is 6 months. Within 6 months you have to complete, something like that.
Okay. No issues.
That is the first year when they introduce it is for 30 days, and after that every year you have to complete within 6 months.
6 months. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other? We have got experts who have come here. So stay tuned. We are on social media, the Emerging India Forum, on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. All the updates, all the glimpses of the program will be shared, teaser messages of this event, and stay safe, stay connected, and Alec, Ankita and Mansoor, anything to add? And then we can end the session.
No, all fine for you.
Thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you for inviting. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for giving the opportunity and inviting Amir bhai. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
learned a lot from you.
We are blessed to have you all in our community. and we would be inviting you again. And so stay tuned, stay connected. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.